From pole vaulting disasters to some legendary controversies, these are track and field races gone wrong. Number 8. The Skewered Pole Vaulter. Timur Morganov's a lucky man who had a scary near miss during his 2018 Diamond League performance. As he was on his way down, the pole dangerously went the wrong way and narrowly missed him. The pole nearly turned the young pole vaulter into a shish kebab. Thankfully though, the pole only went through his clothes and he was able to laugh it off. Speaking of laughing, check this one out. Number 7. Barking up the wrong tree. Man, relay races are exciting. They're fast, explosive, and the teamwork has to be just perfect. You just never know what's going to happen. This race looked like it was over when a dog ran out of the stands and decided it was his time to shine. The race ended in an amazing photo finish, but in the end, it was the dog who took the gold. The owner must have been proud, but maybe also embarrassed at the same time. Speaking of embarrassing, number 6. Spider-Man Attacks. The 800-meter race in the 2017 Irish University Games was intense. But only a few yards from the finish line, it looked like the race was settled, when out of nowhere, a mysterious strap bounced onto the track, hit a race leader in the head, and tangled around his ankles. The poor guy looked like a penguin when he crossed the finish line. One of the commentators at the event had a great response saying, "Spider-Man attacked him coming down the home straight. That was unreal fun. Get a replay of that. That was good."
Spider-Man attacked him, coming down the home straight. It was unreal crack. I love it. Get a replay of that. That was so good.
Luckily, the organizers understood, and the athlete was allowed to run in the finals. However, some athletes aren't so lucky. Case in point, number 5. Isaiah Jewett and Nigel Amos tumble away. Because of COVID-19, the Tokyo Olympics were held behind closed doors. And that was definitely good news for Isaiah Jewett and Nigel Amos, because it saved them from a pretty embarrassing moment in front of thousands of spectators. Jewett inexplicably tripped during the semifinal race, and Amos tumbled right after him. Both of them were considered to be at the top of the sport, so it was certainly an unexpected moment. But in a display of true sportsmanship, Jewett and Amos helped each other up and hugged it out. Those are the kind of role models the sporting world needs. Our next guy, maybe not so much. Number 4. 1,000-meter boxing. I swear, student track meets are the best. You get to hang out with people from other schools, have some friendly competition, and maybe even have a day off from regular classes. Pretty much a perfect day if you ask me. But it all went horribly wrong at this student meet in Florida. One athlete crept up behind an opponent and sucker punched him in the face. What? Why'd he do that? Well, apparently the guy who did the punching wasn't even in the race. He was watching from the side and obstructing the runners. The guy in first place asked him to move once, and in the next lap, he pushed him out of the way. The kid in the black was furious, so the next time they came around, he ran after him and clocked him with a right hook straight to the face. Apparently, the police were called in to check out the situation. I mean, that kid got knocked the out. But hey, at least he got further than this next guy. Number 3. Out in the first hurdle. Picture this. You train every day, of every week, of every month, and you finally achieve one of the greatest goals that an athlete can dream of. You represent your country at the Olympics. Man, I can't even begin to imagine the excitement an athlete must feel. But I guess with all that excitement, some pesky nerves might get in the way, and you could get a bit distracted. That's what happened to Jeffrey Jolmes from Haiti. Jolmes was ready to race in the 110-meter hurdles event at the Rio Olympics. Now, they say that just taking part in the Olympics is a great honor, but I'm sure Jeffrey would have liked to get a bit further than one hurdle. Damn, it must hurt to go all the way from Haiti to Rio just to fall on the first hurdle. Poor Jeffrey. The guy looks like he needs a hug, but at least he was a good sport about the whole thing. Got up and made it to the finish line. Something to be proud of, definitely. He finished a race at the Olympics. I sure can't say that about myself. At least what happened to Jeffrey was his own mistake. If somebody else ruined my race, I'd be pissed. This leads us to number 2. Leprechaun Marathon. Vanderlei de Lima wasn't favored to win gold at the 2004 Athens Olympics, DeLima was certainly a respected athlete, but he was considered a bit too old to challenge for the top position in the marathon. Nevertheless, Vanderlei was a champion at heart and wasn't going to listen to the critics. Sort of like an Eddie the Eagle type character. Vanderlei attacked the race from the start, got away from his competitors, and with 4 miles to go, had an impressive 90-second lead over the rest of the competitors. It was amazing. A classic story of Olympic greatness waiting to be written. However, things were about to get very, very weird. A spectator jumped out of the crowd and tackled Vanderlei. But it gets even weirder. The spectator was dressed as a leprechaun. Fans rescued DeLima, but the damage was done. The group caught up to Vanderlei, who was exhausted and distracted from the ordeal. But incredibly, he didn't give up the fight and kept running to the very end. Not only did Vanderlei finish the race, he won the bronze medal. Man, that Brazilian's made of something else. But wait a second. Who was the leprechaun? Well, it turns out that the leprechaun was an Irish priest named Neil Horan. And why did he tag Vanderlei? Well, in his own words, "My central message is I believe a visitor from outer space will soon come to this world, and he will take complete charge of the world and reign as king from Jerusalem for 1,000 years."
My central message is, I believe a visitor from outer space will soon come to this world.
Yeah, that dude's insane. He says he attacked the Brazilian to bring attention to his message. Well, I guess in some ways, it worked. That was certainly a freak show, but when it comes to athletic controversies, nothing can beat this one. Number 1, Mary hits the deck. Mary Decker was the favorite to win the gold in the 3,000-meter race at the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. The American athlete was on her home turf, and the crowd was chanting her name. Everybody in the stadium was rooting for Decker. But a young barefoot athlete named Zola Budd wasn't gonna make it easy for Decker. Budd was only 18 years old and had already broken the 5,000-meter world record. Decker took the lead early on in the race, but Budd managed to get ahead. The crowd was on their feet when suddenly, disaster struck. The pair crashed and Mary hit the floor. Decker lay crying on the grass, didn't get up, and the pressure was too much for Budd, who ended up in 7th place. But what happened? Decker blamed Zola, and Zola blamed Decker. Decker said Budd moved sideways too much, but to be fair, she was ahead and couldn't see. In any case, it's been a long time since the race, and the pair have settled their differences. They may not have won the gold, but at least the story had a happy ending. That's all, folks. Those were track and field races gone wrong.